If she is a pretty girl and she is single from 25 to 26, huge red flag, okay? I'm gonna tell you why.
So you woke up this morning and thought, you know what? Women have invested way too much energy in spending time with me just to learn that I'm a douchebag. I'm gonna put it all out in the open right now.
Women control the mating dynamic, okay?
The mating dynamic. Well, you and me, baby, we're nothing but mammals.
And especially for a pretty girl, you have thousands of guys, thousands of suitable partners
Does she actually?
waiting for you, right?
Consider this. If she has absolutely no interest in pursuing a relationship with any one of these 1,000 men, stands to argue that your options for dating go to zero because you're not going to entertain dating somebody you don't want to date.
And you're telling me out of all of those people, one person you couldn't form a long-term connection with, a long-term relationship with?
It's nice for you to insinuate that she must be the problem. I won't insinuate that the man was the problem. Perhaps there was no problem. Maybe there was just no chemistry or connection. Maybe it wasn't the right timing. Who knows? There's so much nuance to this.
And nobody was suitable for you?
It's also nice to insinuate that every single young woman's life must revolve around dating a man and getting into a relationship.
All it boils down to is this.
What it boils down to is you've swallowed the red pill and it's poisoned your mind, and it will continue to negatively impact your ability to have good relationships with women.
If you are in your 20s, getting up to that age as a girl, right?
Getting to that age where you're becoming a senior citizen in your mid-20s, I don't think you need to concern yourself with the dating patterns of young women.
You cannot hold down a guy.
I can't imagine any of them would want to date you after seeing this video.
That says a lot about you.
And all the assumptions that you're making about these hypothetical young women says a lot about you.
Because why can you not find a guy for yourself
Well, have you ever actually asked a woman?
when you control the access to any guy that you want?
Except for the men that they want that don't want them back. Oh, you know what's radiating off you? Envy.
Now, if you're in a professional school, you're in medical school, you're in dental school, law school, universally nobody has time for anything.
Does that mean that you're not studying because you have time to make content like this?
Even then, it should actually incentivize you more because you're building something, you want stability, you want something long-term, so you should have a long-term husband or partner or whatever.
Have you ever taken into consideration it's dependent on what the individual wants for their life at that time? How many men have you encountered who have said, I'm not going to date for a while, I'm going to focus on myself and my career? Women can do that too!
Which goes to say that, listen, that means there is something fundamentally wrong with you.
That's a hell of a statement. That's a statement that I think you should be uttering to yourself in front of a mirror.
If you have like an infinite number of guys to choose from and you can't choose one.
Can we stop acting like having an infinite amount of options is necessarily a good thing? If you had 1,000 women who wanted to date you and you had to choose only one, what are the odds that you've picked the love of your life? Better yet, if you had 1,000 women that wanted to date you but you weren't attracted to any of them, would you still date them?
It's not the same thing for guys, right?
Of course it isn't.
You know, when you are a young guy in your 20s, you don't control access to getting with girls. You don't control access to relationships at that point.
Can we stop acting like that there is zero men in their 20s who have dated and been in relationships with women?
You have no resource signaling. You have no resources. You're still building as a young guy.
And in spite of that, there's endless evidence of men in their 20s dating and getting into relationships with women. Some even get married. But in saying that, if this is the type of attitude and mentality you have towards women, it doesn't surprise me if you don't have any dates.
Men hit their peak, you know, mid to late 30s.
Stands to argue that there's plenty of evidence that lots of men never hit their peak. So you're going to get to your mid to late 30s with the expectation that you're going to be guaranteed a 21-year-old blonde bombshell presented to you?
Women hit their peak from 21 to 25, 26.
And congratulations, you've just now signaled that you're not long-term relationship material. Do you share this sentiment with a 25-year-old who just got out of a long-term relationship with her high school sweetheart? Yes, there must be something fundamentally wrong with her. I guarantee it's got less to do with age and more to do with the character, values, choices, and behaviors a person chooses to make with their life. Much like you're choosing to believe and adopt this mentality. So good luck to you. I'm sure this will win over all of those other single men that you're seeking approval from. I can only hope for the women once they turn 25, they won't be ever bothered by men like you again. But I have my doubts.